Welcome to Live a Life. This Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro is the best value smartphone, but not for everyone. This is why. For a value smartphone, you'll have to get the most out of every aspect you have paid for. And this phone gives you tons of amazing features. It has flagship specs, together with more than decent build quality. The Mi 10T Pro comes with a 144Hz display, Snapdragon 865, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage, 5000 mAh battery with 33-watt charging capability, 108 megapixel main camera, and 5G. On top of that, it comes with a glass sandwich design with a metal frame, which feels good in hand and quite comfortable to hold. The front and the back are Gorilla Glass 5 that collects a certain amount of fingerprints. The phone is quite thick and on a more heavy side. It comes with a fingerprint scanner on the side, which is really fast. For the display, you'll find a 144Hz, 6.67-inch, Full HD flat LCD screen. The 144Hz is just so smooth. It just glides through everything displayed on the screen. However, the touch response isn't quite there yet, but I really have to give them some points for the haptic engine. It feels really robust and satisfying. It's not at the iPhone level just yet, but it is surely up there with some of the flagship models. The screen is decently bright, but it's not really that bright under the sun. The brightness peaks at 650 nit, but watching HDR content is not really good. While the bright part of the image looks pretty good though. The display can't produce enough level of black because it doesn't have the capability of the OLED screens, causing shadow on the HDR content to be crushed. As a result, everything looks contrasty and not really pleasing to watch. Otherwise, watching any other content is a pretty good experience, along with the stereo speaker that is pretty loud and produces decent sound. The viewing angle on the Mi 10T Pro is not really that great. The color starts to shift from just tilting around, and there's a lot of vignetting around the edge of the display, which is really annoying. The color reproduction is pretty good too. It is vibrant and pretty accurate, but the default of the white color has a magenta tint to it, which is pretty normal for cheap LCD panel. But luckily, MIUI comes with multiple color profiles that let you customize the tone of the screen even further. Here, I shift the tone to green, which is the opposite of magenta, to counter the purple tint, and now the white looks white. The Mi 10T Pro comes with the new MIUI 12 on the Android 10. Overall, it gives a very smooth user experience that has a pretty wide range of customization. You can go minimal and customize it as close as stock as you like, or you could go fill the customized look as well. This phone has a flagship specs, and it performs like a flagship. Playing graphic-intensive game here is no problem at all. Multitasking on this device is a breeze as well, with 8 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon 865. Switching between apps is just so seamless and smooth. And for the 5G, it has solid connection with really good speed if you're in the area. A whopping 5000 mAh battery gives you a solid battery life. It can last a full day with intensive use without having to worry that it might die. If you are light to moderate user, you can expect a 1.5 day use out of it. Together with the 33-watt charging, the battery is really not an issue here, and the phone did a really great job optimizing for the battery life. Now, let's talk about the camera. The Mi 10T Pro comes with 3 camera setup. The main 108 megapixel camera, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro camera. They shoot a decent photo, but not quite at the flagship level yet. In a good lighting, photos looks pretty good, with good details, good contrast, good dynamic range, and good color reproduction. But sometimes photos looks a little over sharpened and too contrasty. The sensor is big enough to create depth of field without needing a portrait mode, if the object is actually close enough. And shooting at 108 megapixel is pretty cool as well, if you're in a good lighting condition. Details are super sharp and zoomable for tons of details. You can actually capture a lot in low light, and turning night mode helps balance out the photo a lot. For the video, it shoots up to 8K 30fps or 4K 30 or 60 fps. In 4K, the video looks a little soft, and it has a poor dynamic range. The image stabilization is not quite at the flagship level yet. It helps stabilize the footage, but the electronic stabilization really makes the footstep feels really obvious. Overall, the Mi 10T Pro has a decent set of camera, and it gets the job done really well. The price is kind of a weird problem for this phone. The price really differs depending on where you live. If you live in Europe, the price is around 500 to 600 euros. For this price, there are better buys out there. For example, the OnePlus 8T and the Samsung S20 FE just gives you more on that price bracket. But lucky you if you're in Asia. The price usually hovers around 300 to 400 euros. With this kind of specs and features, Mi 10T Pro is probably the phone with the best value in the market right now. So, what do you think about the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro? Do you think there's a better buy out there? Comments down below. And as always, don't forget to leave some thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell icon to see more great content in the future. See you guys next time. Stay safe.